Welcome. So today we're going to focus on the distance formula. Well, when you're given 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2, the distance between those 2 points can be found using d equals the difference between the two x values squared plus the difference between the two y values squared and the result square rooted. Now, some books will use x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1. But when you're squaring the result of a subtraction, it won't matter which one you call first point. Because whether it's positive or negative, if it's 10 minus 5 or 5 minus 10, the result is 5 squared or negative 5 parentheses squared. That's still positive 25, so it doesn't make a difference which one comes first. So, knowing all that, if you need more time, pause it and write this down. Here's our first example that I'd like to demonstrate. Remember, the distance is the square root of the difference between the first, the x coordinates, plus, and then square it, the difference between the y coordinates squared. So 13 and negative 3 are the two x values. 5 and 17 are the two y values. Subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive, so this is like 13 plus 3, or 16 squared. And 5 minus 17 is negative 12 squared. Well, 16 squared is 256, and negative 12 squared is positive 144. When we add this up, that's 400 being square rooted. Well, with all of these, if you're using your calculator and you square root 400, I would always start with trying to see what the square root is. Sometimes it's going to square root nicely, like this comes out to exactly 20. 20 squared is 400. Other times, you're going to have to simplify and write it in simplest radical form. So what I'd like you to do now is try this one on your own. Pause it, try the example, and then unpause to see me do it out. Now that you've had a chance to try it, I'll try it on for you, or you can follow along as I do it to see if you did it correctly. 2 minus 14 squared, that's these two. And now I'm going to do these two, 14 minus 5 squared. Two minus 14 is negative 12 being squared, and 14 minus 5 would be 9 squared. All right, so that would be the square root of 144 plus 81. That's the square root of, let's see, 5, 225. Now it turns out if you square root 225, you get 15. And there's your final answer. Let's check out this next example. That's better. And in this one, again, square root parenthesis minus squared plus parenthesis minus squared. And we're going to fill it in with 17 and negative 19. Negative 1, negative 7. Subtracting a negative is adding a positive, both there and here. 17 and 19, that's 36 squared. And this would be positive 6 squared. I can move this up, out of the way. And we'll use that during class. But for now, we're talking about 36 squared, 1296, and 6 squared is 36, and that's 1332. Now, we're going to break this apart so that we can try to simplify this as much as possible. We're simplifying the square root. Now, if you recall, if you add up all the digits, when I add 1, 3, 3, and 2, that adds up to 9, which means 9 actually goes into it 148 times. Now, 9 is 3 times 3. I know 2 will go into 148, 74 times. Well, 74 is 2 times 37, 2, 3, 3. I need a pair to pull one out. I have a pair of 3s. I have a pair of 2s. And the 37 is left inside. So I've got 3 times 2 times the square root of 37. That's D is 6 square root 37. And that's as simplified as I can make it. We can approximate the answer, but this is simplification. Approximating is rounding to a decimal place. Simplification is leaving it in simplest radical form. Now it's good to see this again because it's been a while since we looked at these simplifying square roots. All right, you try this one, pause it and try it, then unpause and we'll see how you did. All right. -4 minus -9 squared plus 16 minus 6 squared. There we go. Plus a positive, that would be 5 squared plus 10 squared, or 25 plus 100 square root of 125. Now it's pretty obvious 5 goes into there 25 times, and I've got 3 5s. I need a pair to pull one out, and that leaves just 1 left over inside. And there you have it. 5 square root of 5 is what the distance is here. Hopefully you got it right. Here's our next example. Have a total of 5 slides today. Distance equals square root -20 minus -11. Make sure that you're using the first term in each, not the first and second together. You don't want -20 minus 19. Those are not the same coordinate. Those are x's and y's. You want the 2 x's. Squared plus 19 and -4 subtracted squared. Now, plus positive, that makes -9 squared, plus positive, that makes 23 squared. We know that negative 9 squared is positive 81. 23 squared is 529. So when I add these together, I get 610. Now, when you look at this at first, you say, oh, maybe we can break it apart. Well, yes, 61 and 10, 5 and 2, but it turns out that doesn't break apart. That's stuck there. So there's no pairs, so there's no simplification. So we just leave it as square root of 610. So go ahead and give this one a try. You should get similar results where it doesn't break apart. All right, now that you've done that, let's see how well you did. 6 minus 0 squared, negative 1 minus negative 14 squared. Now, a common mistake I see students make all the time is they see so many negatives, they just go negative 1 and negative 14 and make negative 15. But that's not correct. You really should throw those double signs as to a plus positive. So that gets you 6 squared, and this is 13 squared. 36 plus 169. Let's see, double check that. 13 squared. Yes, 169 plus 36, 205. And yes, 5 goes into there 41 times, but 41 is prime, which means only 1 and 41 go into it. So we're done. Square root of 205. That's it for this. Hopefully that was correct for you. Now, here's where it's a little different. I have a graph. I don't have exact coordinates written out, but the coordinates are the point, so you can count out negative 5, positive 3, and this one is positive 3, negative 3. Now you have your coordinates, go ahead and find the distance. Again, students are always looking at this going, oh, that's 0, but it's not. It's plus positive. So here we're talking about negative 8 squared plus 6 squared. Now, negative 8 squared is positive 64, and 6 squared is 36, which is square root of 100, which is just the number 10. So D is 10 here. Give that one a try. See if you can come up with it. All right, now that you've unpaused, negative 5, 2. And this one is negative 2, negative 2. Now I'm going to bring this up so we have a little more room to work with. All right. Let's see if I can squeeze this in. Negative 5 minus, no comma there. That's what I want. Minus negative 2 squared. Positive 2 minus negative 2 squared. All right. So we're talking about plus positive, so this would be a negative 3 squared, and a positive 4, not 2, 4 squared. So 9 and 16, that's the square root of 25. And that is 5. D is 5. And there you have your result. All right, hopefully you got that right. Let's try another couple. This time, I'm going to do it a little different. Instead of writing out the coordinates, I'm actually going to count the coordinate. -2 is the x value, and +2 is this x value. -5 is the y value, and -3, oops, not comma, so used to writing that, minus -3 is the other y value. So you can do it that way. It's probably easier if you write out the coordinates, especially on a test or quiz, because writing out the coordinates tells me that you know where you're talking about. All right, so if I actually do this out, -2 and -2 is -4 squared, and -5 plus +3, -2 squared. (16) plus 4 is square root of 20. Did I do all that right? -2, +2. Yes. -5, -3, -2 squared. Yes, I did it all correctly. All right. And 20 is 4 times 5, 2 times 2 times 5. So that's 2 square root 5. Over on the other side, I'll give you a second to write all that down. Maybe pause it. Over here on the other side, give this one a try. Unpause when you're ready. Okay. D equals square root -2 minus +4, 0 minus 4. -6 squared plus -4 squared. 36 plus 16. 30, 40, 52. Now here is the trick here. 52 is, think of a deck of cards. There's 4 suits and 13 in a suit. 2 times 2 times 13. That's 2, the pair of 2's, square root 13 for D. And there you have it. All right. Hope that was helpful for you. Have a great day.